And AI just proved it can compress a 50 million line code base in a single day, a task that takes human engineers 2 solid months. But the U.S. government was so terrified of its capabilities, they banned it globally.
Yeah, and the U.S. Commerce Department literally just ended that unprecedented 18-day export ban on Anthropic's Fable 5 and Mythos 5 models. But the real twist we uncovered in these threat reports and SEC filings isn't how they got the ban lifted. It's the massive pivot they're making into a completely different, heavily regulated industry just to prove their AI's worth to you.
Right, so we've got the raw benchmarks, the Amazon threat report, and the acquisition docs right here for this deep dive. Let's start with what actually triggered the ban, because Fable 5 scored an 80.3% pass rate on something called SWE Bench Pro.
Right, and to understand why that matters, think of SW Bench Pro as well. It's the ultimate, notoriously brutal, standardized test for software engineering. It throws real-world GitHub issues at an AI.
Just to see if it can solve them on its own, right?
Exactly, autonomously. And for context, the old industry leader, GPT 5.5, scored 58.6%.
Yeah.
So Fable 5 jumping to 80.3% isn't just an upgrade, it's a complete paradigm shift.
But wait, why would being incredibly good at fixing code trigger a global export ban? Because older models could already write malware if you prompted them the right way.
Yeah, that's true.
So banning Fable 5 feels like discovering a master editor who can distill a 10,000-page encyclopedia in an afternoon and immediately locking them up just because they might forge a signature?
I get that. But it comes down to scale and autonomy. There was an internal Amazon threat report that warned the Trump administration that Fable 5 wasn't just writing code. It could autonomously scan vast networks.
Wow.
Yeah, it could find and exploit totally novel software vulnerabilities before humans even knew they existed. That level of automated threat is what prompted the immediate blockade on foreign access.
So how did Anthropic get it unbanned so quickly? Because by July 1st, the ban was lifted. They must have proven it wouldn't, build a bioweapon or hack a power grid.
They had to integrate KSI-approved classifiers. Think of these classifiers as highly advanced digital bouncers mandated by the government.
Okay.
They sit between you and the AI, and they actively analyze the underlying intent of every single prompt. Anthropic proved these classifiers successfully blocked 99.9% of malicious cyber and biodesign requests.
And see, this is exactly where the story pivots from a government security scare to a bizarre corporate strategy. They didn't just lock down the biological capabilities of their AI and walk away. They leaned all the way in.
Oh, they went all in.
Yeah, they just launched Claude Science, which is a workbench integrating over 60 different scientific databases.
And Bristol-Myers Squibb is already rolling this out to 30,000 employees.
30,000.
Yeah, 30,000. They're using it to automate complex clinical reports and massively accelerate research and development.
Which, selling software to pharma companies makes sense, but spending $400 million to acquire a biotech startup called Coefficient Bio, that is where I completely lose the plot.
Wow.
They aren't just selling the software anymore, they are literally hunting for treatments for neglected diseases. Why does an AI software vendor need to own a physical drug discovery lab?
It is entirely about the data feedback loop. Large language models are hitting a wall because they basically already consumed the whole public internet.
Right, there's no more data to train on.
Exactly. To get smarter, they need proprietary data. So by owning Coefficient Bio, Anthropic can have their AI suggest a novel molecule, have physical scientists synthesize and test it in a wet lab, and then feed the exact failure or success data directly back into the model.
Wait, so they're running actual biological experiments just to generate training data that no other AI company possesses?
Yes. They need hands-on drug development experience to build a vastly superior AI tool for the pharmaceutical industry. It creates a massive competitive moat.
But looking at the reaction online, especially on Reddit, a lot of people are calling this long-term grifting.
Yeah, I saw those threads.
The biopharma space is notoriously expensive. Clinical trials burn through billions. So skeptics are arguing that a tech firm has no business running wet labs, and they see this as a desperate pivot to mask a bursting AI bubble by, pretending to cure diseases.
Well, we are watching a fundamental macroeconomic shift in real time. AI vendors are realizing that to justify their massive valuations, they have to become their own biggest enterprise customers.
Right.
They are taking on the financial risk of these entirely different industries. just to prove their technology actually works in the real world.
Which leaves you with a pretty wild scenario to think about as we wrap this up. If an AI company successfully discovers a life-saving drug entirely to generate data to train its software, does it really matter to the patient if the company's ultimate goal was just to sell you a better coding assistant?